My husband's sister was supposed to be married in September. I chose an item from the registry, but the exact item she had added had a weird detail. She had explicitly mentioned previously needing option A, but on the registry she accidentally listed option B. So I asked her to make sure I got what she needed, so she knew exactly what I was planning to gift. Sadly, they have now broken up. The gift hadn't shipped yet anyway, so I cancelled it. This past week she reached out to me about it, since she knew I was purchasing it. And we live far away. She was concerned that it had been delivered but someone had stolen it. When I explained that I had cancelled it, she was pretty upset. My mother-in-law has now reached out to us about it and feels that I was unkind to cancel the order. She feels that since my sister-in-law is clearly going through a difficult time, the holidays are approaching, it would have been more appropriate to let the gift reach her anyway. Obviously, these are unfortunate circumstances, but this was a substantial gift, $700, and pretty well above the threshold of what I'd normally spend for a typical holiday gift. Before it comes up, I'll mention short and sweet that my husband is in the military and currently deployed. So that's why he isn't a big piece in this puzzle, and I'm soloing this awkward adventure. And now for some comments. Not in a wrong. When a wedding is cancelled, it would only be polite for the bride and groom to return the wedding gifts. That's the norm. Please do not feel guilty about cancelling the gift. Not in a wrong. What kind of new nonsense is this? When a wedding is cancelled, you don't give a gift and any gift received is returned, just as the engagement ring is traditionally returned. These are gifts that are contingent upon a condition occurring, i.e., a wedding. A pick-me-up for your sister-in-law will be a gift card for a manicure or maybe a facial, not a $700 gift from the registry. That is an expensive gift even in terms of wedding gift standards. Not in the wrong, of course. Say this to your mother-in-law. Mother-in-law, I thought I was doing sister-in-law kindness, saving her having to ship the gift back to me. Unless you couldn't mean you aren't really suggesting that she would keep the wedding gifts. Oh, mother-in-law, don't let her do that. People will hate her. Everyone knows gifts have to be returned. She'll be scandalized. So my dad and stepmom have way too many kids. I, 15 male, have a bio sister, 13, and 7 adopted siblings, 3 boys and 4 girls. All of them were in foster care and most of them have some issues and you have to walk on eggshells around them. This story is mostly about the oldest, Abby, 15 female. They just took Abby in a few months ago and are trying to adopt her. Before Abby, my dad and stepmom said they were done fostering and adopting kids, but 2 girls they adopted like 3 years ago are Abby's bio sisters, so they decided to take her in too. I'd have to say Abby's the worst out of the adopted kids. She doesn't really talk when we're all together. She just sits next to my stepmom or one of the nannies. She also gets really weird about her stuff. Like if she had a pack of cookies and I ate one, she wouldn't eat them anymore. I would go find something else to eat. Same with video games. She likes to play Minecraft and she'll let us join her, but if you touch anything that she built, the whole world is suddenly ruined for her. My dad and stepmom put a snack bar in Abby's room because there are days where she won't leave her room and sometimes doesn't let anybody in, and they think this will get her to eat on those days. I checked it out once when she was in therapy and she has really good snacks in there. She also loves music and has a crap ton of headphones. Like she has AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, 2 different kinds of Bose headphones, and another kind but I don't know what it is. She came with one of the boys and the other kind, but the rest were gifts from my dad, stepmom, and their family. She always has headphones on and makes sure they are all charged all the time. It's kinda an obsession for her. Abby and my stepmom and my sister were hanging out in my dad's room and I needed headphones but I couldn't find mine, so I went to Abby's room, which is strictly off limits to anyone besides my stepmom and one of my nannies. Abby, my stepmom, and my sister were hanging out in my dad's room, and I needed headphones, but I couldn't find mine, so I went to Abby's room, which is strictly off limits to anyone besides my stepmom and one of the nannies, borrowed the AirPods Max, and took a fruit roll-up and bag of cookies from the snack bar. No harm was done, and I was going to charge the headphones and give them back when I was done with them. Abby went into her room and knew that someone was in there and threw a temper tantrum. It took my stepmom and the nanny all day to calm her down. They found out I went into her room and tried to ground me, but I think she was overreacting, and if anything, she should be punished for the temper tantrum she threw. After they tried to ground me, I called my mom, told her what happened, and she came to pick me up so I wouldn't be grounded for Abby's temper tantrum. Now my dad's mad at me for breaking the rules and going to my mom to get out of punishment, and my mom for not punishing me, so I wanted to know if I was in the wrong. And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. It sounds like Abby might be autistic or suffering from some sort of abuse in her past. There is a reason people aren't allowed in her room. There is a reason that she acts the way that she does. What's worse is that it sounds like she has never done anything to cause you to be so casual about ignoring her boundaries. If I were your dad, I would tell you to just stay at your mom's until you are ready to apologize and accept your grounding. I would also add to the grounding for playing the "I'll just go to my mom's" card. You are in the wrong. You really shouldn't go into someone's room if they don't want you there, and especially if you didn't ask them prior. You are in the wrong. Foster kids can be very difficult, especially when they are new to a family. Having difficulty adapting to that doesn't make you or her jerks though. That is going to take time. What does make you a jerk is going into her room, which you know is off limits, stealing, not borrowing her stuff, which you know from past experience she will never use again, since she won't use stuff that other people have used, and also for going to your mom to avoid a punishment that you earned for breaking rules set in place to make her feel safe. Congratulations! You have just undone months of work your family has put into trying to get Abby to trust you, all by proving that you can't be trusted. You could have asked since they were all in the house with you, but instead, you snuck around behind everyone's back to get what you wanted. My husband and I have been married for 13 years. He has a daughter, Alyssa, 16 female, from a previous relationship, and I have my daughter Mariah, 15 female, from a previous relationship too. My husband is the only father my daughter has ever known, and until now, he has made no distinction about our children. Alyssa's mother is still very involved in her life, and she spends half the months with us, while my daughter lives with us full-time. My father-in-law recently passed away and left him their house. A very nice house. We're actually so excited about this because we were saving to buy a home for us and now that we're making plans to move, I told my husband we could use that money to make some renovations for when the kids inherited it so they can sell it and split the money. He said no, that the house will be his daughter's and that he doesn't feel comfortable leaving it to Mariah too when she's not his legal kid, and that we could set the money aside for her because the house doesn't need that much work anyway, which is true, but it felt like a low blow. I said it was unfair to leave Alyssa a full house and remarked how he was willing to leave it to both when we were going to buy one, and he said that it was because we would have bought it together, so it was only fair. I said he was being an awful father and asked if he was willing to leave one of his children homeless, but he said I was overreacting. I pointed out how Alyssa was getting this house, with some of the money her grandparents already left her, plus my husband's inheritance and her mother's, while Mariah only had both. My father-in-law didn't leave her anything, which is okay. He admitted it wasn't fair, but that's just how it is. and that we could work to try to make it even possible. I was flabbergasted. So I just took Mariah and came to stay with my sister. He called asking to talk, but I am not ready. My sister said I was a jerk because Mariah is not entitled to my husband's childhood home. And it made me think, what do you guys think? And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. Your daughter is not entitled to his childhood home, and your husband was definitely making concessions to make it more fair for her by offering to save up money for her. It is really narcissistic and actually selfish of you to expect your husband to leave his stepdaughter, your daughter, his childhood home from his father, when usually stuff like that goes down to the bloodline. I could see being upset if he was trying to exclude her from anything, but he's not. You need to reevaluate your attitude and your way of thinking before you lose a good man. You are in the wrong. Hugely. He's keeping the house and the family, sorry, but your daughter is not his daughter. It is not like he's kicking her to the curb. Presumably, y'all are going to give that money more to your daughter like he said. Everybody sucks. In a blended family, I can say it's surprising that he feels that the house should go down to the biological line, especially if he's offering to set up fund for your daughter separately. At the same time, if this home is going to become your primary residence for your blended family, you haven't mentioned what happens to you if he dies unexpectedly in a few years, or even next year. Presumably, had you both bought the house together, the mortgage would fall entirely on you, which may or may not have left you in a bad situation. Are there contingencies in the will for how long you can remain in a home if he dies? ETA. I can't agree with everyone hardlining on you're the wrong here. They have been married for 13 years, almost both these girls' entire lifetimes. It is odd to me after being a parent to a kid for that long, he would consider her not his legal kids. What kind of family is this after all of this time? What happens to Mariah if OP dies? Who takes care of her until she's 18? If OP is going to be living in a home she has no legal right to upon her partner's death, that greatly affects what savings/financial decisions she needs to make in the meanwhile. I'm 18-year-old female, and my mother is allergic to peanut butter. My friend Lily, 18 female, has had a really bad home life and asked me if she could move in with me while she saves up for an apartment. My mom, being the kind soul that she is, said yes. Lily is really into peanut butter. She will eat it out of the jar and put it on everything that goes with it. Don't really know what that means, but okay. Well, she moved in last week and everything has been going fine so far. We went grocery shopping earlier and Lily grabbed a jar of peanut butter. I was like, what are you doing? My mom's allergic. She said that it is not that serious and she doesn't have to eat it. But my mom's allergy is serious. Even being around it is enough to get her allergies to act up. And I told Lily that and made her leave the peanut butter. I get how Lily would think that my mom's allergy isn't serious because she jokes about it all the time. OP, I found a no peanut butter zone sign. Honey, you wouldn't believe the horror. Jan brought peanut butter to work today. How will I ever survive? Anyways, Lily is mad at me for being unreasonable and won't talk to me. I'm just trying to keep my mom safe, that's all. Am I in the wrong for not letting Lily bring peanut butter into my home? And now for some comments. You're not in the wrong. Lily is going to test your mom's allergy and send her to the hospital. 100%. Not in the wrong. But this was my thought as well. You might need to watch Lily like a hawk unless you can make her truly understand the dangers. Not in the wrong. Peanut allergies can be very life-threatening.